Yes, my people. So welcome back to another episode of Live and Laugh, episode 10. Can't believe we're on 10 episodes already. Today's episode is going to be with a men's physique client, Ryan. Okay, we're going to go through an arm session. We'll give you top 5 tips on how to build bigger arms because your boy's got big arms, big weapons. We're also going to go and sit down on this sofa and talk about mental health. You know, talk about how mental health gets positively impacted by bodybuilding and going into my situation a bit more in detail as well. Roll the clips.
Okay, my people, so we have got Ryan here that we're going to take through an arm workout. So I'm just going to go through a few select exercises that are going to help build your arm and also execution tips and tricks to help increase the amount of stimulation that you're going to put through those muscles. So first of all, first exercise we're going to do is focus on our triceps here, tricep extension. Massively over butchered exercise, but what I want you to do is obviously, I'll show you first how to do it. So you're going to come up, and a lot of people, what they try and do is they try and bring their shoulders forward, right? So you just want to make sure you're moving the elbow. It's a simple down and up job like this. 1, 2, 3, pause, down. 1, 2, 3, pause, down, yeah? Got that? Yeah. And you want to come all the way out with this and almost twist it out like that. Really get that full squeeze on the tricep head, yeah? Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, down, squeeze it out, okay? Give it a go. And what we're looking for here is we're looking for any shoulder movements. So we just want to make sure we pin those shoulders back, yeah? And then all we're doing is just moving the elbow here. That's all we're doing. Bring those elbows back slightly, tuck them in a bit. There we go. Good. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Right, so when you come up, don't go like this and then down. Come up and then literally just no jerking. Because when you came up like this and then went quick and down, right? Yeah. You want to keep control. There, perfect. You feel the difference? Yeah. Yeah? Keep the time under tension. Good. Nice. 2. Again, just try and get rid of that momentum in that movement there. Just, there we go, good. That's it. Good. How's that feel? Yeah. Go heavier? Yeah. Yeah.
Look, tell a man no trouble, I don't want beef, man, I just want vibes.
You literally are just coming down and away from your body here. Okay, so down and away. Alright, so you're coming here, like that. Yeah?
Nah, no need for the snoozing. Big whip outside, I'm cruising. Big stick inside, no losing. Better watch out for the snake and Judas. Don't ask them who this is. I bet they know what I'm moving in. I bet I show it into a dim. How you hate and then lose again?
If you had to say like one tip of like how you changed your training, what was the biggest change that you made? Like small tweak which made the biggest change?
I made sure that I was in the muscle. Yeah. So instead of just going from point A to point B, get your brain in the muscle and go, okay, I'm feeling this, I need to feel it here, and here. Yeah. Understand that you're trying to stimulate the muscle, you're not a power lifter, you're not a weightlifter, you're a bodybuilder. So to build the body, you need to stimulate. So understanding what you're looking out for when you're in these movements. And understanding you need to try and get your brain into the muscle and make sure you're understanding that throughout the whole range of motion, you're stimulating all the muscle fibers. Because that's what's going to lead to the ultimate amount of growth. Simple as that. And that's the best advice I can give. I can tell my tricep 2/10 because it's a neurological pathway. So if you think about it, if you think about the pathway, it's going to be easier to connect. Yeah?
And hype on my line. Tell a man I don't want feedback, I just want relax. Brand new whip, 2-tone, I need that brand new hit. You know, like lean back, brand new bits. I live in we pack, man, you never gon' like us. Get them on sight now, let them on light. That way they know I'm more righteous. Look at my life, I'm living alright. I'm nice, you know I'm alright.
So what would you say, obviously coming into bodybuilding, loads of people have like all kinds of different motivations as to why they actually get into the industry. What would you say was your biggest motivator to actually start training? Was it something which you just always kind of knew that you wanted to do? Or was it something specific in like your background which might have pushed you into that direction?
So in terms of the beginning of my bodybuilding, obviously the actual first time I went to the gym was because my mum bought my brother a gym membership. Okay. And I was like, Mum, can I have a gym membership as well? You know how you get there with the kids. So I was like, yeah, let me get a gym membership because my brother's got one. And then from there, I kind of like, that was when I first went to gym. I didn't really enjoy it first of all, but I then went away, did a bit of boxing, some tennis, and like focused on individual sports. And then obviously from my sort of childhood in terms of secondary school, what pushed me towards like bodybuilding a bit more was channeling my aggression through something, through the abuse and obviously everything I got from school in terms of being German. Obviously we were like 1,400 kids in the school, and me and my brother were the 2 German kids. And obviously my mum was the crazy German lady, right? Swear down. And obviously I got picked on a lot, and got expelled from one school, got isolated a lot in secondary school in terms of like sitting outside the headmaster's office, and it was just a bit shit. So I was like, well, I'm not getting any time to put my energy through anything because school was shit. I wasn't really doing much at school that I could have been doing. Didn't really socialise, didn't really have an outlet, right, so to speak. So bodybuilding was an outlet for me. Now I just used it as a way to kind of get my energy out, and pretty similar to how I attacked boxing. Like I did boxing from like the age of 13 to 15, and I really enjoyed it. But once I found bodybuilding, it just clicked for me, and I was like, I actually really like the feeling of what it does, you know, and like training, feeling the burn, the pump. And then back then it was more so just training. I didn't really focus on my nutrition. I kind of got quite fat. I was very naturally a very fat guy, a very fat kid. So for me, it was just a case of going in, training, not really focusing on all the other stuff, but that's kind of what got me into it. And then from there, it's led me to, 10 years later, obviously being in the position where now it's just a case of striving for better. You know, I don't necessarily want to compete with anyone. I want to just consistently be a better version of myself than I was yesterday. And we can always improve. There's always things that we can improve upon. And that's ultimately why I'm in the position I'm in, because it's that consistent strive for progression. You know, it doesn't leave you, you know, and that's something I've found, and that's something that I really enjoy, is that I always think that I can do more. And I think that's probably why I'm in the position I am in regards to bodybuilding now, because what did start as an outlet for aggression, an outlet to channel my anger into, has obviously now turned into something very, very productive. And obviously, yeah, luckily I've made a career out of it.
Now we're moving on to the most butchered movement in the whole of the industry, dumbbell preacher curl, right? What I see a lot of times is people go like this, I want to go all the way down and then all the way up, right? The trick is with this movement is you want to come down to here where your bicep is under maximum load, because anything past that, you're just activating your tendon, right? That's all you're doing. So you want to come down here, come all the way up, squeeze the bicep, and then come down to about there, yeah? And then come up and squeeze, okay? I don't need you to come all the way down, because it's just going to put unnecessary tension on the tendon, okay? So come to about here, and squeeze, okay? 3 seconds down, 1 second up, okay? 3 seconds down, 1 second up. So this is how I want you to do it. So 1 crocodile, 2 crocodile, 3 crocodile, squeeze, okay? And you want to make sure you're putting all the pressure through that elbow here, yeah? So get the tricep on the back of the pad here, and all of that pressure is going through that elbow here, yeah? Okay?
No need for the hypo fight or telephone vipers. No need for the telephone vipers. No need for the liars. I don't watch your moves or priors. I got much to do, I'm biased. Big bosses move in silence, watch it. No need for the liars. I don't watch your moves or priors. I got much to do, I'm biased. Big bosses move in silence. Yeah, me, I'm moving quiet. Ask me, I'm leaving an island. New watch is perfect timing. No need for the surface shining. Ask me, I need me a few. I need me an island. I'm keeping it true. The man, I'm a wild, I'm keeping it cool. No need for the telephone hacks.
So Ryan's just done a very good thing there. So when you're training arms especially, it's good to touch that bicep, so you're creating that neurological pathway between your brain and your muscle. So if you're touching it, you're making your body aware that that's what you're trying to work, okay? So particularly when you're doing an exercise like this, it's really important just to put a little bit of a finger on there to make sure, one, you're squeezing it to its maximum potential, and two, you're creating that positive neurological pathway, because that's going to increase your mind to muscle connection.
Yeah, tell a man no trouble. I don't want beef, man. I just want vibes. Big man like me, no need for the telephone hype. I got too much getting online.
And you say obviously you channeled a lot of anger through bodybuilding, and that was kind of your outlet. Bodybuilding obviously empowers people in so many different ways. Did that kind of empower you in a way of when people would message you trying to be supportive who might have not been necessarily the most kind to you in school? did that empower you to be more of a, like, I'm better than you now, like, I hope you see this? Or was you just as respectful to them as you'd be to any other client who might ask for advice?
Nah, so for me, like, look, do you know what my opinion is when it comes to bullying and stuff like that? I don't think people know what they're doing when they're doing it. Do you know what I mean? They don't understand the impact, and this is something that we obviously, is why we're here talking about it and making people aware about it, because actions do have reactions and actions do have consequences. I'm in the position that I'm in because I went to the gym because of how I was treated by certain individuals at school. But do I hold on to it? No, because at the end of the day, we could all die tomorrow. You know, what's the point in holding on to any anger or grief? Because at the end of the day, they probably didn't know the severity of what they did in terms of my anger towards it. And obviously it was more than that. It was more like I actually got physically abused, and sometimes I'd get the kick shit out, the shit kicked out of me. I'd sometimes go and meet people, and I thought I'd be socializing, but they just bully me and they kick me. And like one time, someone videoed me on YouTube, and they shoved me in a bin. Like, you know, one of those massive like recycling bins. It was called Steve in a bin. The video on YouTube was called Steve in a bin, and they basically videoed me going into the bin. And I was like, oh, this is banter, yeah, banter. And then they literally shut the lid on me. 4 of them sat on the lid, and they took me into the road. Literally, they took me right into the high street road. So yeah, shit like that. So I thought I was socialising, and that was the situation I was in. So obviously that for me was a case of what started it all, right? And then those same people still follow me now, a lot of them, right? But if I was to ever go and say to them, oh, do you remember what you did? They wouldn't know. So that's why I don't care, you know? What's done is done. Yeah. You know, I'm just grateful that I've managed to use that in a very positive manner, you know? So, yeah.
So, touching upon that then, do you feel like it's important for people to have some form of motivation or baggage in their past to be able to be successful? Because if you look at massively successful names in any industry, a lot of them have like an underlying reason as to why they wanted to take whatever they've done to the extreme. They had some kind of trauma in their past. Do you think that's important to be massively successful, to have some kind of chip on your shoulder? Or is it more a case of everyone's got the same platform to be just as successful?
I think in regards to that exact question about having a chip on your shoulder or having something to intrinsically motivate you, I think that gets you going. But I wouldn't be here if I didn't love bodybuilding, I didn't love the process. That's got fuck all to do with me being bullied. That's got fuck all to do with my anger issues as a child, right? That's got everything to do with me falling in love with why I'm doing it. And obviously there's, the way that I see it in terms of those intrinsic motivations, they kind of get your foot through the door. But if you don't love what, so to say you've entered a house, so to speak, right? And the reason why you've entered that house is for X, Y, Z, or being bullied or whatever, right? And you don't like the house, you're gonna leave quickly, right? You're not gonna stay there. But if you like the house and you feel comfortable and you feel at home within that environment, then you're gonna stay. So like, I feel like it gets you through the door, but to maintain what you love, and you look at the people like Jeff Bezos and stuff like that, their love for being a customer supporter, like they want to provide customer service, they want to be the best in the game, right? They want to be the most influential customer service in the whole of the world. That's why Amazon is where it is, right? Because of the standards you set. So it's all about the standards that you set within the environment that you're in that get you to where you want to get to, and your standards are always changing. I can only speak from my personal experience. My standards as a bodybuilder, my standards as a coach, my standards as a person, as a boyfriend, as a friend, as a son, have all changed year on year on year. You know, and that's the reason why I find myself in a position now, because I don't act the way I did last year. I don't act the way I did 5 years ago. You know, so that's why I think it gets you through the door, but ultimately, if you're not willing to adapt and consistently improve, then I think that's what stunts the growth ultimately.
If you had to give like one piece of advice to yourself, say 10 years ago when you first started out in bodybuilding, what would be the advice which you'd give to yourself?
In terms of bodybuilding?
Yeah.
One, that's a good question. I would say focus on yourself, because it's you versus you. And I think a lot of people in social media these days like to look at other people, like to look at, oh, what's he training? How's he training? What's he eating? How's he eating? It don't matter, because it's not your body. You need to look after yourself. It's called bodybuilding, and whose body are you building? Your own, right? So that's where you need to focus on. You need to focus on your path, your journey, and focus on developing routines and developing habits that are going to benefit your process, not anyone else's. You know, so when I see people eating so and so foods, cool, you do you, boo boo, that's fine. I'll do me, I'll do what's best for me. And that's why I would say, because I think you lose a lot of time by looking elsewhere and you get distracted, and it stunts the progress, I think.
So on that note, do you think, because tons and tons of people, especially in the school years as well, not necessarily just down to bullying, but just down to their own perception on other people's faults, experience a lot of mental health issues. Do you think bodybuilding is a positive factor in terms of improving mental health, or does it cause more than it actually alleviates? Because there's so many school kids, for example, that might have the just general, they are the skinny kid and they feel self-conscious about that. Bodybuilding, you could say, yes, helps them cure that by building size. You could also say causes 10 times more issues by constantly chasing a size which is unachievable.
No, I agree.
Do you feel it's a positive thing for mental health, or do you feel it's a negative?
In an overall scenario, I think it's a positive because it allows you to focus on something. Now, take drugs for an example, right? If you take a certain drug and you're an obsessive personality, you're going to take more of that drug because you're an obsessive personality. Same with bodybuilding, right? Some people overstep the mark and they focus on too much of what's not important and they get in their own head about it. So I think it's, in terms of what bodybuilding is and training, nutrition, looking after your health and looking after your body, that's a positive. But within that, people can take it too far and people can misconstrue what bodybuilding actually is. And that's the problem. And I think that's where the issues come. And that's where the eating disorders come, because people push their boundaries too far within the realms of bodybuilding, thinking this is what I have to do when it's not. And I think that's where the issue comes. But if you're talking about bodybuilding as a whole, training, looking after your food and making sure that your body is healthy, that's only a positive. You know, positive from a mental health standpoint, positive from a physical health standpoint. But you're always going to have people that overstep the mark. And those people, 9 times out of 10, end up getting more traction and more exposure than the people who are doing things properly. You know, and that's the problem. And then people only see such a minute part of the picture. It's like a whole puzzle, right? People see one piece of the puzzle and they'll go, oh, that's the whole picture, when it's not. You know, and that's where the problem comes, I think.
The overhead tricep press, but it's in line with the shoulder scapular movement, okay?
Right, okay.
So, what I mean by in line with the scapular plane is that instead of coming here, you're going in line with the scapula, so you're coming just a little bit out, okay? So I'm just going to show you. So you're going to come out like so, okay? So instead of coming just like here, you're going to go slightly out like that. So you're just going to come out and you're just going to squeeze in line with that shoulder scapular plane. Okay? Like that, okay? Squeeze, lovely. Feel that? There we go, press from there. There we go, that's it. That's the one.
Look, tell a man no trouble, I don't want beef, man, I just want vibes. Big man like me, no need for the telephone hype. I got too much getting online. One rule, then dead I'm on side. Wrong move, I bet they gon' ride. No need for the telephone hype, nah.
So less is more when it comes to biceps. So obviously, biceps and triceps are high fatigue threshold muscles, but unlike your calves, you don't use them very often. So like imagine if you were to carry some shopping bags, your arms get really heavy very quickly, right? But you're always on your calves, you're always walking. So that's the difference between the calves and the size of the muscle between the biceps and the calves. Relatively similar in size, but you use your calves far more than you use your biceps. So you want to make sure that you're just stimulating enough to get that growth, because it's a small muscle group. You don't have to do much. You don't really have to be doing 10 sets of biceps or 10 sets of triceps, because it's too small. The fatigue is going to get too high and it's going to cramp, you know? So we need to make sure less is more. Work smarter, not harder with the biceps and the triceps, so just keep it simple.
So how important would you say having like a dedicated arm day is? Because a lot of people don't believe in training arms. They say like throw them in at the end of a session. Would you say, like, because I've heard some people say if you want big arms, you need to fucking train arms.
Well, the reason why I've got big arms is because I trained them 3 times a week when I was fucking young. So I used to train the CTR, you know CT Fletcher? Yeah, so he had a video called Armed Warfare. I used to do that 3 times a week, every week for about 6 months when I was like 16 years old, and that's why I've got big arms, right? But I wouldn't train like that now, right? But the reason why I've got big arms is because I was consistently, with biceps and triceps, you can load them very frequently because they're, like I said, they're high fatigue threshold muscles, right? So you can go little and often, So little by little, 3 times a week you can train them, and you can still get enough recovery in them for them to grow. So that's why I would say the best protocol to train arms is if you're doing push-pull legs or upper lower, make sure you're training your biceps and triceps every second session because they have the capability to repair because they can, you know. They're not like your chest, they're not like your back. So yeah, that's why I would say little and often.
Little and often.
Yeah.
No need for the snoozing. Big whip outside, I'm cruising. Big stick inside, no losing. Better watch out for the snake and Judas. Don't ask them who this is. I bet they know what I'm moving in. I bet I show it into a dim. How you hate and then losing?
When you see that jerking movement, right, what you're doing is disengaging and re-engaging the muscle. Why would you want to do that? That's like going 60 miles an hour down the motorway, turning your engine off and then on again. It's the exact same situation. You wouldn't do it in a car, so don't do it with your muscle. Right? So when you're in the middle, when you're under 100% maximum contraction, don't jerk it because you're going to engage and you're going to disengage and re-engage, and that's going to lead to injury. Right? So don't do that. Because if you did that with your car, the fucking engine would eventually blow up. So the same process with your muscle. Your muscle's eventually just going to go. Boom. So,
I got much to do, I'm biased. Big bosses move in silence, watch it. No need for the liars. I don't watch your moves or priors. I got much to do, I'm biased. Big bosses move in silence. Yeah, me, I'm moving quiet. Ask me, I'm leaving an island. New watch is perfect timing. No need for the surface shining.
Obviously, steroids are a very real thing in the industry, and they're what allows people to push their bodies to such an unbelievable limit. Do you feel that they're a positive in terms of they help the industry progress, or a negative in terms of there's so many people out there which look at even people like Sky Aesthetic and loads of amazing figures which might not necessarily be attainable in the short time frame that they want them in?
Steroids is a tricky one, man, because at the end of the day, you shouldn't take them unless your goal is to compete. If you're a lifestyle client and you're just looking to get in shape, you can do all of that without drugs. You can do all of that without it, right? Because people have shown that success leaves clues. There are so many people that are natural that have achieved amazing physiques, but it's a shortcut. If someone said to you, right, oh, I'm going to give you £5 million, but you're going to have to work 50 hours for it, or I'm going to give you £5 million and you're going to have to work 5 hours for it. Which one are you taking?
5 hours.
There you go. And steroids is that exact analogy. Steroids will allow you to get to your end destination a lot quicker because of the hormones, because of the anabolism, because of the effect that it has on the human body, because it essentially accelerates what we already have inside us, right? So that is the issue, and people think that they need to have that shortcut either through laziness, either through greed of progress, either through lack of knowledge. So that's where the rabbit hole is because when you are uneducated in regards to the steroid side of things, you need to understand that if you're not going to compete and if your goal is not to be one of the best bodybuilders or be up there, then you don't need it. You know, that's my personal opinion. And that's where the situation gets totally fucked because people who shouldn't be doing it are doing it. And then that is opening up a whole can of worms. And then people go, well, he's doing it. He looks like that, so I should be doing it. It's not the right way to look at it, but that's the industry we're in. And it comes down to lack of awareness, you know, it comes down to lack of awareness, it comes down to lack of education and knowledge. And obviously as a society, I think, and as an industry, we're getting better at it. Because, I don't know about you, but like from my perspective, bodybuilding was not what it was 5 years ago. The knowledge has so vastly increased.
100%.
And I'll just think about it in another 5 years' time. You know, it's gonna go up and up and up a level. So yeah, I think it's just gonna come down to, it's down to individuality, you know. If you're going to be like a naturally angry person, then guess what? Putting more fucking hormones in your body is going to make you angry. You know, that's down to your makeup. That's your chemistry, right? And if you're adding something to that chemistry pot that's going to aggravate your own personal reaction to things, then of course it's going to be a negative effect. But that's again come down to knowledge. You know, it comes down to lack of knowledge, how to use these things, what to use, how much to use, etc. So.
And speaking on individuality, one thing which has always been a really interesting concept for me is that there's so many people out there, going back to what we speak about originally with mental health, that go through half the amount which someone else might go through, but then end up with twice the amount of issues. Obviously, you experience a lot of bullying in school, you're in an industry which there's so many figures out there which you have to compare yourself against in shows, yet you seem so positive 99% of the time. Why do you feel like you haven't had as many mental health issues, or is it just a case of your personality of what you see isn't necessarily what you feel inside?
The thing is with me, right, I've come to the conclusion, obviously I'm 25, I've been to university, I've been in and around so many different individuals and so many different people. People don't care, man. They only care about themselves, right? When push comes to shove, people will always put themselves first. And when you understand this, and I'm saying this, like, I don't mean to say this in a negative way at all, but genuinely, people will put themselves first, right? And let me put it this way, you will be surprised at how quickly people forget about you when you fucking die. The world moves on, man. The world moves on. Look at the amount of people that have died who are celebrities, bro. Right? They died, the world moves on. So why are you going to spend all your life impressing people or being judged or caring about what other people think, when if you die, they don't give a fuck about you anyway? Half the people that follow me on Instagram, if I was to stop posting, they wouldn't give a shit. And that's why I am who I am, and that's why I am the way I am, because when you apply that mentality, when you go, do you know what? It ain't that deep. Yeah. You know, we're going to have agreements, disagreements, we're going to have our own opinions, you know? Like, that's the way I view life. That's the way I view people, and that's why I'm so positive, because I'm never going to really take anything to heart. And that's why social media, for me, is a positive, because I can see these 20 comments about, oh, you're this, you're that, and I'll just laugh at it, because it's the person on the other side of that keyboard has felt the need to express his hatred towards me when they don't even follow me. Deep that for a second, man. That's a problem with them. It ain't got nothing to do with me. So why should I take that personally? I can't control people's actions, and life is all about, and touching upon what you said about how people deal with things. Life isn't about what happens to you, it's how you react to it. You know, you have the absolute 100% capability to allow anything to penetrate here, right? That's your personal decision, right? What comes through your brain and what comes through your ears is your decision. So understand that you are in control. And some people get overwhelmed very quickly and think, I'm not in control, when you are in control. You know, and once you see it that way, then trust me, life gets a whole lot stress-free.
Last exercise is going to be your hammer curls, okay? So we've obviously done the short head and the long head with the bicep by the creature curl. Now we're going to work the brachialis as well, okay? So this is here, you're going to have a neutral grip, and you're just going to come up, you're almost going to slightly lean over, and then make sure, again, very similar to the tricep extension, you're just moving the elbow, that's it. You see that? You see how I'm just moving my elbow like that? Yeah, and you just want to make sure all the tension's going through here, okay? Like so, all right? Okay?
Ask me, I need me a few, I need me an island, I'm keeping it true. The man, I'm a wild, I'm keeping it cool. No need for the telephone hype from you. Yeah, tell a man no trouble, I don't want beef, man, I just want vibes. Big man like me, no need for the telephone hype. I got too much getting online. One rule, then I'm on side.
Something that I want to add, yeah, is creating standards with your own training. So, 9 times out of 10, what happens is you're going to do a rep perfectly and you're going to not do it again the same way because it fucking hurt. Guess what? Bodybuilding and training is meant to hurt. You're breaking down your fucking muscle, right? So when you have that really good rep, continue it, bro. Because what happened was you did it and you were like, oh, that's fucking hurt. And you went back to type, you reverted back to type, started jumping again. But because it hurt, because it was challenging, because it was difficult. But that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to create a novel stimulus. We're trying to create a positive change, right? So challenge yourself, set your standard, and set your standard in your head of what a good rep is and what a bad rep is, right? And just refine the process, continue to refine the process. Because the closer you can get to the perfect rep, the more you're gonna grow, right? But don't slip your standard just because it was difficult. It's meant to be difficult. But guess what? It's meant to be hard, man. You're not here to fucking get a massage, right? You know what I mean? No fucking Thai massages around here, boss.
Wrong move, I bet they gon' rise. No need for the telephone hype, yeah. Tell a man no trouble, I don't want beef, man, I just want vibes. Big man like me, no need for the telephone hype. I got too much getting online. One rule, then I'm on side. Wrong move, I bet they gon' rise. No need for the telephone hype, yeah.
Right, my people, so we are back at the crib, okay? And before I wrap up this video, I just want to make a quick announcement. So, the merchandise has landed. As you can see here, we have got medium, small, large, and extra large. So currently, right now, I am wearing a extra large, okay? And obviously, this is what it will look like. Obviously, you've got here the logo at the front. Okay, it's nice, oversized fit, very, very good quality. So obviously we have these available in medium, small, large, and extra large. So that is it for today's video. Obviously, if you want to grab a piece of merchandise, they are going to be on sale in the next 24 hours. The link will be in the description below on my website. But that has been it for me. Please make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Again, we have got so much content coming. The next video is going to be a training session with Connor and Marvin. All right, big session down at Muscleworks in Orpington. Then that's going to be followed by the photo shoot that I've done. So plenty of content coming your way, guys. Like I said, you need to make sure you're subscribed. All right, I've been Stephen Physique. Catch you later.